Well, the old way of doing continence assessments was a 3-day time and volume chart where people would be put in a pad if they had come in with an identified continence issue, and they would be checked every 2 hours and notes taken on the chart. They would be toileted on request, of course, and that measured and put onto the chart. But it was very time consuming and also didn't provide the resident with a lot of dignity, with someone coming along and having a look at their pad all the time over a 3-day cycle. So it was a time consuming process and not necessarily very accurate, because you might have checked the pad and then 2 to 4 hours later, at some point they've used the pad, but you don't know what time that was. So time and volume charts ended up giving a story that everybody would be toileted at the same time, and the same sort of pattern of care would be derived from those charts. I was very excited because the main reason being for the dignity of residents, that they would still be wearing a pad during that process, if they were identified as needing one. But that it took away all those interventions and inspections by the nurse, which would give back the dignity to the resident. So it saved a lot of time, and it was accurate because it identified exactly what time the resident voided, and then they were able to assess the volume of that void. So it was able to easily identify what type of pad was required, whereas the old system didn't do that. You then still had to guess what pad was required. So the SIM system narrowed the options down to, one option, a daytime or a nighttime option for the pad. So it has proven to reduce the size of pads that people are wearing, and at times the number of pads that are required for that person. I think it raises the status for nurses as professional people, having more scientific approaches to measuring care needs. And that, I think, boosts morale for nurses to know that they've got excellent technologies to back up the care that they're giving. And again, the documentation, where there's often failures in manual documentation, the SIM provides those safeguarded events being recorded, and it avoids the failure in documentation. So you're getting the most accurate picture and so forth for your staff to operate. But what it has actually, in one particular instance, a situation comes to mind where a particular resident was having very regular falls, and they had done the manual time and volume assessment when the lady was admitted, but then we later, when we introduced them, we got to assess everybody that was incontinent within the facility. And it identified that at a particular time of day, after lunch, they would toilet this lady, but she never did anything. But then at 2 o'clock or 5 to 2, she would every day have a fall. And with the SIM identified, that was the time that she was actually wanting to void. And so therefore we were able to eradicate her 2 o'clock fall that she had nearly every day, because we knew to intervene based on a more scientific approach to continence assessment. So that was really a great boost. And another one where, in terms of behaviour, had a particular gentleman that just didn't seem to sleep. He was agitated all night and so on and so forth. But with the SIM assessment, we were able to identify that he was retaining urine, he wasn't voiding, and so we were able to get him assessed to see if there was a plumbing problem, I guess you could say. But then we changed, based on the SIM assessment and the volume that he was voiding at a particular time in the night, staff were able to intervene and get that man comfortable and settled, and he began to start sleeping a lot better and not being so agitated. So that was 2 really good examples where care interventions changed as a direct result of the SIM assessment, and we got good outcomes. SIM for me is an incredibly innovative technology because incontinence has been around since Adam was in shorts, and nobody's been able to advance how we manage that since the introduction of the disposable pad. I remember the days we had the washable pads and all the Kylies and all of that. Now we're able to manage an age-old problem with modern technology that is incredibly innovative and incredibly effective and cost effective. It gets you some paybacks. So I love innovation. Maroba is, I guess, a high-tech facility. We have electronic records, electronic medication systems, and we like to engage our staff with those innovations and excite them about coming to work, that it's not just more paper pushing and all the rest of it, that their documentation is of a modern standard, fitting in with the modern generations that all wanting to use technology. That gives us the opportunity to attract innovative people. Yes, I had a number of staff, particularly those that are very closely involved, are very excited about it. And you know, people think nurses are unusual because they get excited about things like incontinence, but this has been such a great innovation. It's got nurses talking about improving care outcomes, and they're seeing results, and it's given them an opportunity to step up their skill levels, learn new skills and teach other staff those skills. So a number of staff are very excited about it. Others are, yes, it's just part of their day now, it's just normal practice as to what they do, but those staff that are really switched on absolutely love this and are absolutely championing it here at Maroba.